Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 8 new Easter DIYs for you, all using supplies from the Dollar Tree. These are going to be really cute today. For the first DIY, you're going to need one of these little bunny bum signs from the Dollar Tree. I want to cover mine with the white fluffy mop heads, also from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need about 3 if you make it like I did. Now, I kind of need a pattern for the feet because I'm not going to bother trying to take these off. They're difficult and they get broken a lot to try to take them off. So I just took a piece of just regular copy paper and just kind of, folded around the edges where I could kind of see them a little bit. And I'm just going to sketch that out with a pencil so that I can kind of just make a pattern that I can use because I want to cut out little fluffy bunny feet too. I thought it'd be really cute to do little fluffy bunny feet. I want to give a shout out to one of my members of my private Facebook group, Rochelle. She did a fluffy bunny bum sign and it turned out really cute. It inspired me to make this DIY and kind of make one my own. So I am just going to go ahead and cut that out. I'm only going to need one because I can just reuse that pattern. And we're just going to flip the sign over. Nothing going to get in our way. We're just going to use the back side and kind of make our own thing. I am going to glue the hanger in place though, just so it doesn't turn and kind of hang out the sides. But that will work perfectly backwards as a hanger. Now the mop head is just the right size. They're curved a little around the edges, which did cause a little gap on the 2 sides, but that's okay. We can always fill that in later. But as you can see, 2 of them together is definitely going to cover this size bunny really well. So I'm just going to simply hot glue these down. I thought it would be easier to hot glue them down first and then worry about cutting them to shape later. Cutting the mop heads can get really messy if you've ever worked with these before, but they're so fluffy and cute. So I'm going to do the same thing here at the top. Just putting hot glue all over the surface of the sign and laying that, kind of blending it in with the first one so you can't really see the seam in between the 2 little mop heads. Just kind of smushing it all together right there in the middle and making sure that it's nice and tight. I don't want any of the wood to show through. And I also want to make sure it's glued tight to the edges here. That's going to help me be able to cut that a little bit better, perfectly to size. As you can see, there's not much to cut off here on the bottom one. It kind of fits perfectly. Just kind of the corners, really, is the only thing I really have to cut off there. And, I like to cut upside down like this too to try to cut the fabric, but it's still super going to shed a lot. So be prepared when you cut this stuff. It does kind of shed and kind of fall apart a little bit. I'm trying to throw mine away as soon as possible before it kind of gets out of control. But as you can see, it also looks a little shaggy after cutting it. So once I cut it down, I just go around, try to cut off any loose strings or anything like that. That's going to make it look kind of crazy. And again, cleaning up all that shedding. Now I do have some of it left over though, so I might as well use that to kind of cover the little gap here between the 2 mop heads. So I just use a little hot glue, glue that down, makes it where you can't see the wood, and everything looks nice and fluffy for the little bunny bum. So for the feet, I think one of the mop heads is going to be plenty. It looks like that's going to fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut this in half. That way I am left with 2 pieces that are the same size. And then I want to kind of sketch out my pattern shape here on the back to make it easier to cut. I didn't really want to have to pin it or anything like that. I thought I could just use a little fine tip Sharpie here, kind of sketch it on the back. I did try to use a lighter color. So if any of that's left, you might not be able to see it. But as you can see, it's just long enough for one of those feet that size. And what I want to do is combine this little fluffy foot that I'm cutting out with some of those little felt bunny feet from the Dollar Tree. But if you had any kind of pink felt or pink material, you could use that as well. I just thought that would make it a little bit easier because they already have the little shape of the bunny feet on them. So again, it sheds a little bit. It's a little shaggy when you cut it down, but I'm just trimming my first little bunny foot up. And this turned out so cute. This is the first time I think I've ever given a bunny rabbit like fluffy feet, and it is definitely cute. When I pictured doing this project, that's what I was thinking of, is like, I want fluff between the little bunny pads on their feet, their little bunny toes. I thought that would be super cute, and I love bunnies for Easter. It's like one of my favorite things. So again, I just sketched it out and cutting the other half of the mop head down to size for a second little bunny foot. And I'm not gonna, they're pretty, sturdy. I'm not gonna attach this to anything. I'm just gonna glue this directly to the mop head underneath of it, kind of having it hang off the bottom like the original sign. Just trying to recreate what's on the back with my own stuff. So again, super shaggy, just trimming that down to clean it up a little bit and trying to make sure that they are even and everything looks good. They're kind of a mirror image of each other. There's not like a left and a right. You can't really mess that up since I use the same pattern for both. Again, just trimming it up until I'm happy with it, and I think that looks pretty cute. Now to make the little toes, I'm going to attach those, but I'm just going to go ahead and glue the feet down first, and we can just keep adding on to this sign from there. So I'm just using hot glue to glue these down. And I already had these mop heads because I used them for snow for Christmas, my gingerbread setup. So of course, definitely saving these to reuse for another DIY. I love these things. I also love the little fluffy automotive towels, but it's not near this fluffy. Now, these are the little felt bunny feet from the Dollar Tree that I was talking about that I thought would make things a little bit easier. I just want the little toe pads on these. So what I'm going to do is just cut down the little ovals. The big one can go on the top part, and then the little toes can go along the bottom. Just how like a little bunny foot would be, the back of a little bunny foot. And I think it turned out so cute. It's one reason I like this sign is because you can do the bunny feet like this direction. Normally when you have just the back of the bunny, it's just like you can really just do the tail. There's not a lot of details you can add because the feet are like facing the other direction, if you know what I mean. And so I did the same thing with both of them, just cutting them down, trying to get them as close to an oval shape as I can. They don't have to be perfect, but having the like already printed on there and not having to draw this out on pink felt or anything like that just makes this so much easier and makes everything a little bit more uniform. So I just cut down all 8 of our little ovals here. And once I get them all cut, we can start putting this little bunny together. So the little pads of his feet go here, and then the toes can go 1 in each one. There's like 3 toes. So it worked out perfectly. Isn't it looking so fluffy and cute already? I had a great time putting these DIYs together. I wasn't sure if you guys were wanting more Easter DIYs. I know the Shore Living Beach stuff's coming soon. I got my first package from DollarTree.com today, the Shore Living Picks. I posted a picture of those. They are available at my store. They're only available to ship to your home, but shipping really wasn't that bad, and it was super fast. I got them within a couple of days. And I am just hot gluing these all down, making sure to push them down so that fluff comes up between the toes because that's really what I wanted. Now I couldn't find a pom-pom that I had that was big enough for a bunny tail this size, so we're going to try making one. So I just cut down like a little piece of cardboard, pizza box, and I'm going to try making one. I thought this would be bigger than my hand and would make a bigger pom-pom. So I'm just simply wrapping it around. This is that Dollar Tree like Chanel yarn. It's not my first choice, and I've never made a pom-pom with it. It's really floppy. I wasn't sure if this was going to work, but I thought maybe if I make it big enough, it will work. This was the only white yarn that I had, and I kind of wanted to stick with a fluffy white bunny. So just wrapping that around until I think it's nice and full, cutting that off. I had also cut off an extra piece before I started, and I just feed that through the bottom there. We're just going to tie this off and knot it to start creating the giant pom-pom for the tail. Another thing you could do is you could put like smaller pom-poms together, but I wanted to see if I could create my own. I wasn't super happy with this pom-pom, and I think it was because of that Chanel yarn. It's just floppy, but you know what? That whole bunny is kind of floppy with all the fluffy and fur, so I think it will work. So I just cut it about halfway through across from where I tied it off to create our pom-pom. And you can see that it's a floppy pom-pom, even though I have lots of string in there. So I kind of trimmed it to try to make sure that it was fairly even and shaped like a pom-pom. And let's see what we can do here. So if I put it up here at the top, it's a little crazy looking right now, but once you hang it up, it all goes down a little bit. But since it's nice and full, I think it is going to work. I'm just going to trim it down a little bit though, because I just didn't really like the way that it was laying. But let's go ahead and attach it up here. We can always trim it a little bit more if we need to. I was trying to see, I was not super happy with it, but you know what? In the end, I think it's going to work. It is a nice big fluffy tail, right? So after messing with it and contemplating whether I want to attach it, I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. And so I just put glue on the fluff and the pom-pom, gluing that right where the bunny tail was before at the very top of the sign. And we already have the hanger on there from before. I want it to be tall enough to cover that wooden tail that was kind of sticking up out of the top of the sign. But I also want it to all be kind of glued tight, and so it doesn't stick out too far. So again, you can see the back of it is just the original sign. We did all of this on the flat side. That way everything was super easy to attach to the sign. Now I thought maybe if I cut like layers in the pom-pom, it would make it like lay a little like more round, since it's a little bit flat at the moment. So just kind of like hair, I just cut the top layer a little bit shorter and kind of shaped it a little bit until I was happier with it. And this is how it turned out, our little bunny bum sign. I think it is super cute, and I think it's going to be really fun for Easter. What do you guys think about our first DIY? I think it turned out really cute. I know with the photograph, it's kind of so bright, it's kind of hard to see like the little feet being separate. But in real life, you can definitely see it because the mop heads are, nice and thick. And you can see two little bunny feet sticking in the back. And I'm really glad I decided to make the feet fluffy because I think that is really cute there between the toes. Okay, for the next DIY, I was actually inspired to make this from a blog. Let me give them a shout out. It was createmakedecorate.com, and they did a little bunny bait bag using some of these little bunny bags from the Dollar Tree for a burlap bag. And I'm like, you know what? I have some of those, and I want to do a little carrot DIY for you today. So the first thing I'm going to do is to cut off the little triangles there at the top. There is also a tag here that is kind of in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that down. I'm just going to fold mine over a little bit at the top and kind of have mine be open. She kind of tied hers off, but pretty similar. And I want to stamp bunny bait on mine, so I have some little letter stampers that I actually found at Dollar General. And I'm going to use a stamp pad that I got at Dollar Tree. So it is a green one. I thought that would go with the carrot theme. And so I'm just kind of ignoring the bunny face on the back. It's not really important. I wasn't too sure though if my stamping would go all the way through. So I just cut my ink pad packaging down and slid the cardboard inside, but it looks like none of it went through. So that step's probably not necessary. And trying to figure out which way this end goes. That looks good. And I'm going to start stamping. I'm going to do bunny first. So I kind of do the middle end first so I can kind of get that centered. And I did not push hard enough, so that did not turn out perfect. But you know what? I'm going to distress the bag, and so I kind of want it to look like not so perfect. That's kind of the fun of stamping like this kind of burlap and material anyway. So again, I'm just spelling out the word bunny, and then we're going to do bait on the second line, and I want to fill it up with those little carrot picks that you see there from the Dollar Tree. I love stamping on fabric. It's probably the only time I've used these, but I was so excited to find these at Dollar General. I know I can always find the ink pads at Dollar Tree, but I've never found like the stamp letters like that. And these are a great size. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those up and then To make the bag look all weathered, I'm just using coffee grounds, just dry coffee grounds, and just using my finger to rub those in. Supposedly this works a little bit better than if you get it wet, and I just wanted a little bit of a dirty bag. Nothing crazy here on the front, just a kind of an all over weathering, and I just kind of rub that coffee ground into the bag. It's probably gonna smell good too, right? Now, I don't want the back to be super white though, and I do kind of want to cover up that bunny face, so I put more coffee on the back. I probably rubbed a little harder back here and make it a little bit darker just to kind of disguise that a little bit. But I just want it to look like a dirty little bag, and this trick worked perfectly, so shout out again to that blog for the great idea of using this bag for a little bunny bait bag. I think she called hers bunny treats maybe, but I think bunny bait's super cute. Now, when I fold it over like that, the strings, the stitching on the side kind of came out, so I will have to kind of glue that back down, but I don't want that part to be super white. So I'm using the same thing, but using the coffee grounds to kind of weather this too. And I kind of like this technique. It's a lot more forgiving. I was going to use like some antique wax by Waverly or something like that, but I kind of liked not getting the bag wet at all. So you can just keep DIYing. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down just on the sides here, just to leave that open. And I want to do the same thing here on the back. And this was the perfect size for this. I love like the little stringiness of the raw edge there on the top of the bunny bait. And then you're just going to need something heavy to weight on the bottom. I have a lot of these little pebbles from the Dollar Tree, so I'm going to use that, but you could always use like rice, beans, anything that you could weigh like down at like a sock gnome or anything like that. You can use the same kind of thing here. I want it to be rather heavy there at the bottom, so it will stand up all on its own like that. And then for the rest of it, I'm going to use some of this. Have you seen this polyfill from the Dollar Tree for $1.25? Great find. I definitely have picked up a couple packages of this. I'm just going to use a little polyfill just to make sure it stays nice and open and kind of fill up the space that I don't need. Now I'm going to use those little carrot picks so they will go down through the polyfill and kind of stab into the rocks at the bottom to stand up. But I want the top to look cute, kind of like dirt. So I'm using just some of this brownish floral moss from the Dollar Tree. I have this floral moss like in brown and green. I kind of just pick up whatever I can find at Dollar Tree. So if you can't find this, I think Spanish moss would work really well too. And I filled my bag up all the way, just making sure it stands as a standalone bag by itself. And then we're going to use all 3 of the carrot picks. If you can't find the carrot picks like this, you could always just use the string carrots that are on the garland or the individual ones. They're just a little bit smaller. And I just braked off the little like pick, and I want the middle one to be a little bit taller. So I'm going to break the side pieces off a little bit shorter and just sticking those down into the bag and down into those pebbles at the very bottom. The pebbles actually worked really well for that. Once I got them all in there, I thought they were sticking up a little too tall. I kind of wanted them to be down in the bag a little bit more. It was a little top heavy. So I'm just going to pop them out, break off another inch or so on the picks and put them back down in there. And that made it look a little bit better. And I thought that looked better. And that's really all there is to it. It's just a matter of organizing these little carrots. I did find though that when I pushed them all down in there, I did kind of push my floral moss down in there. There wasn't a lot of it sticking out of the sides of the bag or like in between them. So I just kind of went in and kind of filled that in a little bit more. So it's a nice full little bag of bunny bait, and this is how it turned out. Super easy to do, super cute, and let me show you how mine turned out. It's very weighted well like on the bottom, so it stands alone. It doesn't tip over or anything like that. And I really like the simplicity of just like the old weathered bag with the stamping on there. I think it turned out really cute. Even though I did stamp that in twice. Now, I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know about my private Facebook group. It's always linked in the description below. We'd love to have you. I also have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And my handle on all of those is Crafty Beach on YouTube, and I would love to connect with you over there. Okay, back to the DIYs. I wanted to take one of these little 10 Easter buckets from the Dollar Tree. Isn't this so cute with the little bunny and the eggs on there? And I wanted to see if I can make an egg topiary using these beautiful flocked Easter eggs from the Dollar Tree. I also used these on my Easter coffee bar. I made a garland with them, but I absolutely love them. They're my favorite like big egg they've ever had at the Dollar Tree. So I also picked up one of the little foam circle pieces from the Dollar Tree. They fit in those little buckets perfectly, and I think that's going to make the perfect pot for our topiary. Now, the little flocked, or I guess the big flocked Easter eggs all have a ornament hanger on them. So they do have a hole drilled in one side. I just cut off the ribbon. And then I'm going to use one of these wood dowels from the Dollar Tree. I was worried that it wouldn't be long enough, and it was barely long enough, but you could always use like the little hot dog sticks or whatever kind of dowels that you have. I want my eggs all to be like pointy side up, all going the same direction. So I'm going to start here with the pink one for the very top. I just put the dowel in the hole to make sure it's nice and sturdy and doesn't go anywhere, since I can't stick it in very far because my dowel is not that long. I do make sure to hot glue that in place. And so that is the very top. Now for the next piece, I kind of need to pop a hole here in the middle. I just use a little tiny screwdriver that I have from the Dollar Tree to poke a hole to get me started. And then I just push the dowel down through, trying to come out the other side, approximately close to where the hole is. I did a pretty good job. You do have to kind of push to kind of drill that hole through there, but then just slide this up. I'm going to do pink, yellow, blue. They also had green, if you like that color better. I just wanted an alternate. And this is kind of similar to how I stacked the tinier flocked Easter eggs from the Dollar Tree and made my DIY candle holders in a previous video. So I'm going to put the third one on. We're going to do blue, started at the tip, poked a hole in it, went all the way through, and that looks pretty good actually. So I'm going to use that same screwdriver and some hot glue to poke a hole in the floral foam in our little tin Easter bucket and sit it on there, trying to make sure it is all even. Everything is stacked evenly as it should and straight up and down like the topiary that I wanted. Now, this is the other floral moss. I told you I had two different colors. This is the green floral moss. And you could also use the reindeer moss for this, but I'm going to use this to cover up the foam here at the very bottom. And so I just put a little bit of hot glue on the foam just to glue it in place so it doesn't fall out while I'm working with it. And there's not a lot of room there to fill in because those little foam pieces fit in the buckets great. And if you can't find one of the Easter buckets, you could get one of the plain ones, kind of personalize it if you wanted. Even plain would be super cute for this, or a little pot too. I'm also going to put some of the floral moss in between each egg. And I'm also going to use greenery like Easter or spring florals to kind of decorate this a little bit more so it's not so plain. So I just went all the way around and hot gluing that floral moss in between my yellow and my blue egg. And I wanted it to look springy. That's why I wanted to use like the green color floral moss instead of the brown. So I'm going to do the same thing here between the pink and the yellow. I'm not using a lot, just enough to kind of give you an effect and try not to get too much of that messy moss on my flocked eggs. These are the flowers we're using, the Tweety. I thought these looked really springy. They're little white and yellow flowers from the Dollar Tree. Now they have two different sizes. There's like a 6 and a 3 petal one. I'm going to kind of alternate, like this is the 6 one. And then up next, I'm going to do a 3 one. So it's all kind of alternate. So I'll do the 3 one here on top with a 6 one below it. So they're a little bit different. And then about a third of the way through, I'm going to do like a larger one on the top and a smaller one here on the bottom. So again, they're different. And then a third of the way the other way, I'm going to do the same thing. A large one on top here and a small one here on the bottom. To add a little bit of floral charm to that. Now, I thought that looked really cute. I thought I could also add maybe a few more flowers to the pot below because I also have like the floral moss down there. So I'm just going to glue a few more here just around the rim, but that step's totally optional. I just thought the more flowers, the better. I love flowers for spring. Using them a lot this year. I guess I always do for spring, but seems to be I have a little bit more floral and a little bit more pastels this year. But I really love pastels for Easter. So I think these flocked eggs are perfect. This is what it looks like so far. I thought it needed a little greenery, and any of like the greenery ivy and stuff like that I had, and those flowers, nothing had a leaf that was about the right size. So I'm just going to borrow some from another spring plant. These are just like the pink roses from the Dollar Tree, but they have these really bright green leaves that are not too large. And so I'm just going to cut some of those off, and I'm going to do one of those leaves between each one of the flowers, just kind of gluing it onto the moss. I'm cutting off the stem completely, having them all kind of go in the same direction to kind of give you like an ivy feel as it's wrapped around. So I just hot glue the first three. Now, between the pink and the yellow egg, I'm going to do the same thing with 3 more of the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those down. And then I thought it would be cute to kind of like reverse alternate the direction where I had all of them pointing left on the first one. I'm going to have these go all to the right just for a little bit of variety. And I'm glad I decided to decorate between the eggs. It really made the topiary look way more festive for spring. Just cleaning up any of the moss and any strings of hot glue there with my heat gun. And this is how it turned out. Isn't it super cute? It was so easy to put together, and I love how it turned out. And it's a great use for those flocked Easter eggs from the Dollar Tree. They also have these in like this giant string ones. You could totally do that with them as well. There's also some glittery ones if that is more your vibe, but I'm really digging the flocked stuff they have this year at the Dollar Tree. And that little Cottontail Farms bucket with the Easter bunny on the front is the perfect final touch. So cute. Okay, for the next DIY, I wanted to DIY one of these little bunny rabbits from the Dollar Tree. Little plush rabbit. I chose the brown one because I thought maybe he had a little bit more character. But you could always do this with the white one as well. But the trick on this one, I wanted to find a way to make him special. And I kind of stumbled across a YouTube video by Crate and Art where she painted her. So I'm going to try to do the same. I will link her video down in the description below because she actually sewed hers too, and it turned out really cute. I hate sewing though, so I wanted to see what I could do with this bunny rabbit without sewing. So I went ahead and removed the little bunny nose just by applying a little heat there. I'm going to save that for later, and I'm going to paint mine too. Her channel is Crate and Art, so C-R-A-T-E, the letter N, and then Art. And she painted her. So she painted over the face and the belly with like a white. I'm going to do mine like an antique parchment, so it's a little bit more of an ivory color. And then she added, I think, like real like doll eyes and whiskers and stuff like that. And she sewed hers to make it have legs, facial details, super cute. So if you want more ideas of how you can decorate your bunny, be sure to check out her YouTube channel. I was really impressed. I've never seen anybody paint these before, and I thought it was a great idea. So right there, I just kind of did like a little oval around the eyes and then a little bump out for the cheeks. The cheeks are kind of blushy pink, and I don't want to go over as far as they're blushed, but I kind of like that the blush kind of came through my paint, as you can see. I just kind of switched to a smaller brush, and I'm just using acrylic antique parchment, the ivory paint. Going to do right here for the bunny neck too, and then I'm going to come down and give it a bunny belly. I don't really mind too much the fact that it doesn't really have legs. It's just going to kind of make him look nice and fluffy. And I absolutely love how this turned out. I have a lot of plush bunnies. Like I have a collection. It's one of my favorite things to use for Easter. And I think this one actually turned out good enough to kind of go in my collection. So because, these bunnies from the Dollar Tree can be a little bit plain. So I just went over with one coat of paint, and I'm just kind of touching up the edges, trying to cover up the facial details a little bit, but I don't really mind if they show through because it'll kind of give me detail because I'm just going to be painting a lot of it back on because I don't want to do any sewing. I'm a crafter. I don't know. I just do not like sewing. So also around the bunny belly and stuff like that, I just go around and kind of touch everything up. I didn't really have a paint pen this exact shade of ivory, so you could use that to kind of make it a little bit more pronounced. But I'm also going to go ahead and do my little bunny feet in that white color too. So we're just going to make him two-tone. So he's going to be that nice like brown color and ivory too. It just gave him a lot of character, I think. Now I can still kind of see the toes through when I just paint the little bunny paws that color. And then the felt ones at the bottom, we're going to paint those too. Those are just like flat pieces of felt. This is actually part of the plush bunny. And not taping it off or anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to do the part there with like the little bunny toes. And I do the front and the back and kind of the sides just to make sure that I get good coverage there. And trying to make sure my wet paint doesn't touch back down on my bunny. I'm going to go ahead and stand him up and we can paint his little feet ivory too. And this is the colors that she painted hers. She also painted her ears ivory, so you could totally do that as well, but I kind of liked my bunny having pink insides of his ears, so I'm going to leave those. Just trying to make sure he's dry. If you use a heat gun in yours, though, be very careful because I did kind of melt part of his arm a little bit. That fabric doesn't hold up too well. Now for the eyes, I was trying to decide between the Dollar Tree googly eyes, or I actually have some colored ones that I got, I think at Target Dollar Spot. And I think they're a little bit cuter, but you could totally use the ones from the Dollar Tree, kind of whatever you have. I don't have any doll eyes or anything like that. So I kind of wanted to create my own with some of the little googly eyes. These actually look like eyeballs, so they're super cute. I think I got those at Target Dollar Spot, I'm pretty sure. And so I'm just going to hot glue those over where I can see the original eye was painted on. If you don't have any googly eyes or doll eyes, you could always paint that eye back on. It's still going to give it so much character just by painting him. They did have stickers on the back, so I did peel it for the sticker side, but I didn't think that'd be sticky enough, so I did use hot glue to try to make sure that stays on. And then I did save his little bunny nose. I didn't melt my felt too much, so I'm going to go ahead and use the existing nose, hot gluing that back on now that I've painted his face. And you can already see how much more character he already has from the addition of paint. I'm just going to use a pink Sharpie I have just to kind of draw his little mouth back on. Since he has a pink nose, I thought pink would work well too for his little mouth. Nothing crazy. And then I kind of want to do like whiskers too. So I want to do like some little whisker dots here on the side of the bunny nose. My fine tip Sharpie was not wanting to cooperate on the paint, so I switched it up to just a regular Sharpie, and that seemed to work a little bit better. Now, I was trying to brainstorm what I could possibly use for whiskers. And the only thing I could think of is I do have some of the black floral wire from the Dollar Tree. And I think this is from the hardware section, actually. So maybe it's not floral wire, maybe it's just wire, but it's very thin. So I just cut out 6 little pieces all about the same length. And I thought those would make perfect whiskers. And you know what? They actually worked pretty well. Now, painting the fabric made it where it was a little difficult to kind of stab through the fabric. And you know what? I think hot glue will be fine. I'm just going to do like a little dollop of hot glue right there. And that should be enough to actually glue all 3 of my whiskers in. And that actually worked pretty well. It's not super obvious. And it was probably a lot easier than trying to bury it down into the bunny anyway. I think when I painted the fabric, it just kind of sealed it up a little bit. So I'm going to do a dot here on the other side of the bunny nose and glue 3 more whiskers on. Now I've DIY'd these bunnies a lot from Dollar Tree, and I've never made one this cute. I'm so excited about this little guy. He's so cute, he might even need a name. I'll have to let you guys name them down in the comments below. Now for his toes, I'm just going to use that same pink Sharpie. I like using Sharpies on paint like this. It doesn't bleed very much like a paint pen sometimes. And then I'm going to do it for his little front paws as well. Just trying to make sure it's dry. This is kind of the arm I melted a little bit there with my heat gun, so be careful about using heat on this material. Like a lot of Dollar Tree fabric, it did not take it too well. So I just drew his little toes back on. He is so cute. He does stand up on his own. He's weighted from behind. I thought it'd be cute to use a bunny tail. And originally I had picked like the white ones from the Dollar Tree, but then I was like, that doesn't really match anything. So I'm going to give him a little pink tail. I have some of the little pink pom-poms, the little yarn craft kits from the Easter section at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put one of those for a little bunny tail just because I think he needs one. So right here on the back, I thought about using the largest one first, but then I thought maybe it was a little bit too large. So I switched it up to kind of more this medium size one. And I'm just going to fluff that out and attach it with hot glue right here on the back. Now I knew I wanted to make clothes for him. I was trying to decide what kind of clothes. He already has a lot of character from the paint and the details that we've added to him. But I thought I would do something really simple, like Peter Cottontail would wear like a little vest or something. But again, I don't want to sew, so I was trying to find something. I thought about using fabric, but I didn't know if I'd be able to do a no-sew clothes for this bunny with that. So I'm actually going to use a felt. So these are the little felt sheets in the Easter colors from Dollar Tree. I love these. They have these great pastel colors. I think they have 3 different color packs where they have polka dots and they also have solid colors. So I love this color. I think this is going to be so cute on him. And we can make a little vest. It's not big enough to do the back and the front of the vest, but you know what? They also have the same color in a solid. So we can use the solid for the back of the vest and we can use that cute polka dot pattern for the front. So I kind of want to cut out just a traditional vest shape. So I'm kind of thinking about how that would lay on him. I don't really have a pattern or anything, so I'm going to kind of use the bunny as my own little pattern. So I just laid the felt right on top of him and started cutting up like I would cut up a vest into 2 different parts and then like have a V-neck here. So I'm going to cut it at an angle and I want it to go around his arm and up above his shoulder to make a cute little vest just like that. So I want to create like a mirror image. So front to front, I sit that on the other polka dot pattern and cut down the other side of the vest. And these are just kind of starter pieces. I'm going to kind of trim this down, make sure it fits him a little bit better. I do need a little cutout here at the top for his arm. So I just cut a little triangle shape out of one side and then using that as a template, I did that for the other side as well. So his little arm will fit. It'll go above his shoulder like that. It's a little too long, so I'm going to go ahead and shorten it a bit. And we're going to try it on him and see how it looks. I noticed the bottom was not super level, so I'm going to kind of balance that out a little bit. And I think that's going to be the perfect size for a vest. So I'm going to start just by hot gluing the felt to the felt, actually, just along the side of the bunny. So on his shoulder, on his sides, just like that, and leave the front of it open. I'm not going to use any buttons or anything like that. Nothing crazy, just a super easy no-sew vest. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. I glue it above his shoulder and along the seam here on the side. And again, I don't have enough fabric to use that same fabric for the back of the vest, but we're going to use that solid color. So again, I don't have a pattern. I'm just going to kind of use the bunny as a template, kind of work with what I have here. So I know I want to start here on one side. So I'm going to start here on this side and just start gluing that straight seam down to the side of the vest. I'm going to cut out like a little triangle here for his arm again. So it'll wrap around closely. Look like a little hole for the vest sleeve, I guess, or lack of sleeve, vest opening there. And then I'm going to cut along the neck. Then I can go ahead and kind of glue that all down above the bunny's shoulder, meeting it up with a vest from the other side. And, you know, he's kind of shaped at an angle, so It's not super straight across. I just kind of pull it as flat as I can and cut off some of the excess material, which means I need to kind of straighten out the bottom too to make it go straight from one side to the other. And then I can hot glue the seam to seam here again. And just like the other side, I'm going to cut a little tiny triangle here for his little bunny arm, and then a little piece here to go around his shoulder. And I'm going to secure that as well. So easy peasy, no sew, little vest that I think kind of looks like a Peter Cottontail vest, gives him lots of personality. I also kind of hot glued it to the back of his neck there to kind of tighten it up and make sure that his clothes stay on. I think that looks super cute. I did think that he needed something on his neck though. It's not very cute there, that little like where the material kind of slouches there. And I thought a bow tie would be super cute to go with his little vest. That would be very Peter Cottontail. I thought about using the blue that came in the same package, but you know what? He has a lot of pink already. So I have one of the felt kits for the pink too. And I thought I could use the pink and white polka dot to make a little bow tie. That'd be super cute to bring out like the pink details in the bunny rabbit and also go really well with the little vest that we just DIY'd. So I'm just going to cut the tiniest little rectangle here for a little bow tie. And then we're just going to make a super easy bow tie by just taking some Dollar Tree twine and just kind of tying that in the middle where it'll kind of cinch up and look like a bow tie. So I just flip it over, tie just a simple knot right here in the middle, which is going to cinch it up, make it look super cute like that. I am going to double tie it to make sure that stays in place, and then cut off the excess twine so you can't really see that part. And it was just such an easy way to make a little bow tie for him. And now all I have to do is kind of hot glue that in place right there at the base of the bunny neck. Isn't he so cute so far? I had so much fun putting this DIY together. I really hope you guys enjoy him. I think he's super cute. He has so much personality. I did want him to hold something. And I have some of those little string carrots from the Dollar Tree. And I thought that would be the perfect thing for my little Peter Cottontail to hold. It'll look like, you know, he has like been in the garden stealing carrots. And so I'm just going to kind of put it here under the little bunny foot, kind of holding it up against his body, up next to the cute little vest. So I just hot glue the little string carrot to the vest and to his little bunny foot there. And I think that will stay in place pretty well. It's not super heavy. And I just added another fun little Easter touch to this little bunny rabbit. And I absolutely love how he turned out. So many little fun details, so much personality in him. Isn't he so cute? And thank you so much to Creighton Art for giving me the idea of painting my bunny rabbit, because I knew there had to be something that I could do to make him extra special. This is how he turned out. As you can see, he is super adorable. And I love the fact that I didn't have to sew anything either. What do you guys think about this cutie? So much fun. Okay, if you guys are enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. Turn on that bell for notifications when I post new content. Okay, for the next DIY, I wanted to take one of these little carrot signs from the Dollar Tree and see if we can make a cute little carrot sign with this. And I'm going to use one of the long skinny signs. I'm going to switch it from a horizontal sign just by removing the twine from the back. And we'll just make a new hanger to make this a vertical sign since we're doing a carrot sign. I kind of want it to be straight up and down with lots of fun textures. Very kind of farmhouse feel on this one. I just took some more twine, tied a knot, and missed with my staple gun. I do that a lot because I don't want to put my head in the shot. So you guys don't have to look at my head. But then I'm going to tie another knot here on the other side, and I'm stapling through that thick frame so it staples through nicely for a quick little hanger. I love this one with like the ivory background and the wood frame, so that part's perfect. And the carrot doesn't necessarily fit down in there, but it does fit on the frame, so I think we can make it work. Now I wanted lots of texture on this one, so no painting of the actual carrot sign. We're going to be covering ours with burlap and greenery. Now these are the synthetic burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. I love these things. They're great for crafting because as you can see, they kind of have a coating on the back. Makes them super easy to cut down. No fraying. You can paint them, do whatever you want. And I want my carrot to be covered with that beautiful burlap texture. So just flipping it over, laying my carrot on the back, I just use an ink pen to draw on that plastic coating on that synthetic burlap. And it's not like a obnoxious like plastic coating on the back. You can still glue it and work with it and stuff like that with Mod Podge. And it's a pretty easy shape to cut out here. I'm just going to cut that burlap down to size. And as you can see, no fraying. My favorite burlap to craft with. And so I want to cover it. I do want to paint it like a carrot, but you know what? We can always do that after we've attached it. So I'm going to do a layer of Mod Podge all over the carrot part of the sign. A little bit medium thickness so that it can support the weight of the burlap fabric that we're adding to it. And I just lay that right on top. Since I do want to paint that right away, I am going to try to speed that up a little bit with a little bit of heat just to help that dry a little bit. So it's not like, going all over the place when I try to paint it. But I like painted burlap. I think it turns out pretty cute. I didn't want anything bright orange. I kind of wanted more of a pastel orange. And so this is the color that I'm going to use. It's like Apricot by Apple Barrel. And I'm just using a brush and just regular acrylic paint. We are going to paint the burlap to make our carrot a nice orange color. Now, if you can see, it's kind of hard to see there. I do have a new thing I'm using for painting. These are called palette paper, and it makes your paint stay wet, makes cleanup easier. I have included them under the paint in my Amazon shop down below if you want to check them out. I think it was like $10 with free shipping, and you get like 200 pieces of it. So I thought I would try them out. I'm liking them so far. So once I get that painted and dried, I'm going to use like a little bit lighter color. I have like a soft orange Posca paint pen to kind of add a little bit of stripes, kind of alternating the sides, just a little bit of a subtle detail, and a lighter color, kind of a peachy color. And I thought that would just add a little bit more interest to the carrot. Now for the greenery, I want to use lamb's ear. This is the lamb's ear from Dollar Tree. I love it, and I thought this would be a really fun, fuzzy, like leaf texture for the carrot. So I'm just going to pull the leaves off this. Some of the bigger ones just slide right off. You don't have to do anything but pull. And I'm going to kind of size them according to the greenery here on the carrot to kind of cover it all up. So I'm going to glue this larger one here on this like left leaf. And then kind of space these out. I kind of want them kind of going every direction. And I'm going to kind of cut this first row down to size to make sure everything is rather flat so I can kind of build it out a little bit and make it look like a batch of lamb's ear at the top of the carrot. And I'm so glad I chose this kind of greenery. I think it turned out really cute. So again, I'm using kind of the larger pieces here to cover the wood parts of the sign. It's going to cover most of it and just kind of gluing it flat. So a total of like 5 of the larger leaves. And then I kind of cut them so everything will kind of fit nice and snug, hot gluing to each other. And then I can use some of the smaller and medium-sized leaves here to kind of build it out a little bit, give it a little bit more character. I don't really want any of the stems on any of them, cutting that off. Just want the leaves and kind of piling them by size with like some of the smaller ones here on top. And going both directions, just like the ones on the back. I'm going to keep building that out till I get down to the burlap sign and just add a few more pieces until I'm happy with it. Isn't it looking cute so far? I really like this, and it was such an easy little carrot sign to make, and partnering that with the other Dollar Tree sign, it's going to give it a lot of character. So I think that looks nice and full and pretty good. There is a little bit of variation in color. I love the little fuzzy leaves. And then I thought just a little cute like little bow with twine would be cute, where the greenery comes together with the burlap. So I just tied off a simple little bow. Nothing crazy. I'm just going to hot glue that right there where it all kind of comes together. Super cute. Now, the long sign that we prepared before to make a vertical sign doesn't need anything. I love the colors and stuff. It's just a matter of finding a way to glue this to it since it doesn't fit down inside the frame completely. I have some of the wooden dominoes. I wish they still carried these in the toy aisle at Dollar Tree. I haven't seen them forever, but they're great for crafting for like things like this where you just need a little bit of wood. And two of the dominoes work perfectly for the sides of the frame to kind of boost this up to give me something more substantial to glue this to than just the edges. So I'm going to glue where it goes off to the side there at the very top and there towards the bottom where I have the little wood dominoes. And just glue that in place. You could really use anything for a spacer, but I love using wood when I can. Just making sure everything is glued down tight and everything's going to stay in place. Now I felt like you couldn't really see the lines too well, so I am going in here with another coat for this paint pen to draw that detail back in. It seemed like a lot of it kind of blended together with the paint color that was already on there, just to kind of make that look a little bit more pronounced. And I did leave a little bit of room at the bottom part of the sign where we can put something that kind of looks like dirt, like for a carrot, like growing up, is what I was kind of thinking with that. So for the dirt, I don't actually want to use soil on a vertical sign like this. I'm using some of that brown floral moss again, and I'm just going to hot glue it down. You could also do this with Spanish moss. I think that would look good too. This is a little bit easier to work with though. It's not quite as crazy as the Spanish moss. Not quite as thick either. And I'm just gluing that to the bottom. I just want it to look like the very bottom of the carrot is kind of buried in dirt. And what this is doing also is just adding another texture to the sign and giving it a little bit more character. I kind of had a split corner on my sign, and so I might as well take advantage of having the moss down here is to kind of like make it kind of go over the bottom too. And since I did it in that one corner, I'm going to kind of do that a little bit all the way across just so it's not super obvious that I was trying to cover that corner. But you could always kind of keep it in frame if you wanted. But just another little fun touch to this, since I already have the greenery, have the carrot vibe, might as well give it a little bit more of a garden vibe. And this would look cute like anywhere for Easter, especially next to like a little Easter bunny or like that bunny that we just crafted. And this is how it turned out. I think it's super cute. I think it's definitely kind of got like a farmhouse vibe. I love the soft colors, and the orange is not too obnoxious. But look how cute the lamb's ear looks as the greenery for that. I had never really thought, I don't think I've ever used that for greenery for a carrot, but I like it. It's fun and it's creative. And you can see all the great textures with the burlap fabric, the floral moss, and such like that. Just a really cute, easy Easter sign for your decor. Okay, the next item is one of the little chunky wood chicks from the Dollar Tree. Some of you guys were asking for chick DIYs, so I thought I'd see what I could do. I designed these two printables. One is a yellow and white gingham, and one's an orange tie-dye, and one is a little eye for the chick if you're doing the chick itself. So I will share a link to these printables in the description below this video so you could recreate. I'm going to go ahead and lay my little chick on the yellow and white gingham paper. I printed mine out on cardstock. I love working with cardstock. And I just traced out the shape of the bunny. We're going to go ahead and cover the entire bunny with the yellow and white gingham, and then go back with the orange like kind of tie-dye for the little chick beak and feet. And then we can also add the eye. I did the eye kind of on the same printable, so you can kind of print that all out on one sheet. But I covered like almost the whole page with the yellow and white gingham. So it's not a super intricate shape. Luckily, there's no holes or anything to cut out, so I can kind of cut that down. And I love gingham for Easter, especially pastels. I have some more DIYs coming up later in this video with the gingham too. So we're simply going to Mod Podge this to the front. For these little chunky creatures, they also have bunnies, eggs, and carrots. I think I've DIY'd everything. All 4 of them. I love them. They're so cute. They stand alone too, or you can add them to other things. Once I get the Mod Podge on there, I'm just going to use a dry paper towel to push my cardstock on there, making sure I have it lined up fairly well. I don't have like a lot of paper sticking over the edges. I want to make sure all of the edges are secure and nothing is peeling up or anything like that. But at the same time, I want to keep everything dry at that point while I'm working with it. I used a little heat to speed it up and then another coat of Mod Podge on top to seal it, to make sure that nothing gets on it, discolors it, makes it a more of a finished product. Now for the beak, I'm just going to lay our little beak on the orange. I wanted to kind of give it a little bit of character too. That's why I kind of did this like watercolor looking orange print. And we're just going to cut out a triangle for the beak. Since I kind of sketched it on there, I know exactly how big I need it to be. Lay it on there and kind of curve it a little bit to make a cute little beak. I did want to add a few orange little touches here. I thought that'd be really cute. Add a few more details like the little chick eye, or you could always just leave it as a silhouette with the yellow and white gingham. That would be cute too. Since this is just cardstock paper too, I can just Mod Podge on top of the cardstock we already have and Mod Podge the beak on top, and I'm going to go ahead and seal that while I'm at it. That's one good thing about working with cardstock, is that you really don't have to wait until it dries to do the top coat. Then for the little feet of the chick, I'm going to do the same thing just by laying the feet on there and tracing it out. I can just cut out. It's a pretty simple piece here that'll cover the little feet of the chick. And we can just Mod Podge that over the top of the yellow and white gingham that we already have on there. Super easy. I've painted these. I've covered these with the cardstock. I think covering them with cardstock is one of my favorite things to do with them, because you can get really fun designs and textures and stuff like this with them. It just turns out so cute. So I just Mod Podge the little feet on there. The orange details, I think, really give this guy a lot of character. I'm going to go ahead and seal that as well with a little bit more Mod Podge. And the only thing we really have left is the little eye. I did a little cartoon eye, super cute. I did it to scale of how big I thought the little chick would need a little eye. I want to do a little cartoon eye. That'd be cuter than anything I could just paint on there. So I'm just going to cut that down to size and basically just Mod Podge that right there where I think the little chick eye would go, and another thin coat of Mod Podge over the top to seal everything down. And that's really all there is to it for this guy. His neck is a little wide, so I didn't really want to tie anything around his neck or anything like that, but I think he turned out really cute. Maybe a little bow could be cute on him as well, but I kind of liked the simplicity of him. He's nice and chunky. He stands on his own like this. And I love the yellow and white gingham. I think it really gives him a lot of character. What do you guys think about this Dollar Tree DIY? And don't forget, I do include a link to a free printable for all these designs that we printed out in today's video. We're going to have some more coming up too, so that you can recreate. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment out of today's video and let you know about memberships. For $4.99 a month, you can get early ad-free access to my videos here on YouTube. And it's a quick, easy way for you to support me here on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Okay, have you guys seen these carrots at Dollar Tree? Only a couple of my Dollar Trees carry these. They're like in with their fake food section in home decor, and kind of across from florals in mine. But I picked up 5 of these carrots, and they're plastic. They have the greenery on them. They have a texture on them like a real carrot. And I thought we could put like these together in one of these like little wood crates from the Dollar Tree to do a little carrot patch. A very easy little carrot patch with some realistic looking carrots. Now, I think I've had this little bin for a while because it's kind of broken. But I want to stain it, and I don't want the hot glue to get in the way, so I'm going to glue it after I stain it. For the stain, I'm just using Antique Wax by Waverly and just using a little bit on there. And then I'm going to go over that with a baby wipe to kind of get in all of the little grooves and to lighten the stain a little bit. I don't want it to be too dark. And I'm going to do that on all four sides of the crate. And then I'm also going to do it like on the top and the very inside edge where you can kind of see in it a little bit. But otherwise, I'm not going to do the inside of the crate because you're not really going to be able to see it. Just kind of anywhere that is visible. And then I want to attach a little word to the front, so I'm going to use one of those little hop words. I thought that would fit on there perfectly from the Dollar Tree, and kind of paint that like a pastel color too to provide a little box, and we can stand all these carrots in it like they're kind of growing straight up like in a garden. They kind of look realistic, the carrots. They also kind of look a little bit like toys. I'm going to add a few more details to mine to try to make them look a little bit more realistic, but I think they're cute. And they're a nice size too. So once I get that all stained, I'm going to go ahead and start to dry that, then fix my broken corner here with some hot glue. I definitely have learned my lesson there. Definitely don't hot glue stuff like that first, because then, the stain's definitely not going to adhere to it. So that looks pretty good so far. I just need to attach that hopper to the front. So just picking my favorite size. You get 2 of these in a package. I'm thinking maybe, oh no, there was 3. I think I used one of these last year as well. I'm going to do a pastel blue. This is Apple Barrel Cloudless. And I haven't been able to find the makeup sponges at Dollar Tree lately. So I'm using stencil daubers. Those work great as well, but they're definitely more expensive than the makeup sponges. I hope they get more in stock. Just 1 coat of paint on that raw wood is really all I need. I'm not going to do any details or anything like that. I just kind of wanted a little pastel word to add to the front. You could also use like a paint pen and spell out like Carrot Patch or something like that in like a print font. That would be super cute too. And I just hot glued that to the front. It's a perfect size for that little wood crate. And I think it's going to be plenty large enough to add all the carrots. I do want to add a little bit of color variety to them though. They are bright orange. This is pumpkin color. It's kind of a close orange color to it, but I'm just using one of those little chunky brushes from the Dollar Tree and just kind of distressing in one direction, just to add a tiny bit of variety in color to kind of make them look a little bit more realistic. If you wanted to, you could always go in all of those little grooves with like a paint pen. That might give you more obvious color variation, but this was just a quick, easy way to kind of distress them and add just another color. Just because the plastic's all one color of orange makes them look a little bit less realistic when everything's the same color. So as you can see, just a little bit of variation in color. I do like the greenery on them though. I think that's super cute. I don't have to do anything to that. Now I do want them to stand straight up. They are large carrots, so I don't really need to use any foam or anything like that. I'm just going to hot glue 1 to the center here in the back. I wanted to do an odd number, so I'm going to do 3 in the back, 2 in the front. And I'm just using hot glue directly on the bottom of the crate and standing those up. Now this does require a little bit of patience because you have to let the hot glue harden up so that they can kind of stand up on their own. Because I don't really want them leaning against the edges or anything like that. I want everything kind of growing straight up in my little carrot patch. So I'm going to do the same thing here in the front, 2, kind of centering those in between the ones there in the back. And again, I don't need to use any foam or anything because these carrots are so large. They really do a nice size on their own. Now I do want to weigh down the bottom and kind of fill it up a little bit. So again, I'm going to be using some pebbles. I just have lots of these blue pebbles. I love to craft with these, but I thought these would make a good filler here. It's going to kind of help the carrot stay straight up and down. It's also going to fill up space so I don't have to use quite as much floral moss for like the dirt that I'm going to use around the side of the carrot. So you're not going to be able to see any of these blue pebbles. This is just kind of weigh it all down so it's not top heavy and fill up the extra space. And it really kind of helps separate them all, make sure they're all standing up. This is what it looks like so far. And then we can fill the rest of it in. Now there are holes on the side where there's like little handle holes. So I didn't want to use dirt or anything like that because it would kind of come out the sides. But the brown floral moss will work perfect for that. I can kind of put it in between the carrots and the sides of the crate, in between the carrots. And it looks nice and decorative. It looks like, mulch in a garden. But it is messy. So definitely put something down when you're crafting with this stuff. You kind of get just like a powder there at the end. This is how it turned out, our little carrot patch. I think it's super cute. And I love these carrots from the Dollar Tree. I've really been wanting to make something with these. They also have like apples and lemons and different stuff like that. If you can find them, I highly recommend them. As you can see, they're nice and big. They have a great texture on them. And they're super cute for Easter decor. A pretty substantial piece, a lot larger than that little carrot bunny bait that we did earlier. Now for this DIY, we're going to use some of the Easter shapes from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use a chick, a carrot, and a bunny. And I made 3 printables to cover them with. Blue gingham for the bunny, orange gingham for the carrot, and yellow and white gingham for the chick. And then I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree signs, just a plain 3-piece sign to make a long hanging sign for Easter. I thought these wood shapes would be the perfect size for that. Now, to make sure the paper doesn't adhere weird to the little hole in the hanger, I did go in and just fill them in with spackle to kind of give me a flat surface. But since we're covering them with paper, you don't really have to worry about that being perfect. So for the yellow and white gingham, these are all printables. I will include in the description below. The chick is the most intricate shape because there is a cutout between its legs, which made this one a little bit more difficult to cut out. But again, I printed mine out on cardstock just because it's easier to work with. And I love the pastel gingham. I thought the colors would be really complementary as well and kind of make sense. The orange gingham for the carrot, the yellow for the chick, and the blue can be for the bunny. That's fine. So I did have to kind of cut out that little center section and just cut off all my pencil marks on there from sketching that out. And just covering the whole thing with the gingham. They're nice and small. I'm not going to do any other colors. For the carrot, I did the same thing. I just laid it on there, sketched it out, cut out the carrot shape of the cardstock. And I used an orange and white gingham like this to cover one of the chunky carrots for my coffee bar. So this is going to complement that nicely. We're going to do the same thing for the bunny rabbit and the blue and white gingham. Just sketching it out with a pencil and just cutting it out. So you know what? You don't really need a Cricut for anything like this because you're kind of making it custom for what you've got. But you know what? If you didn't have the shapes, you could, I guess, always cut the cardstock out on your Cricut if you wanted. And I'm just going to Mod Podge the cardstock to the front of each one. I start there with the bunny rabbit. I did a pretty good job of cutting these out and everything fits nicely. We're going to do the yellow and white gingham here on the chick. And that hanging sign has like white slatted signs that are going to be super cute for a background for these. Just something really simple. We're going to do the same thing for the carrot with the orange and white gingham. And I Mod Podged everything down. Now that I have it all secure, I can go over the top with more Mod Podge, seal them all down just for a little bit more durability. And now it's time to put it together. This sign was so easy to make. Let's do the bunny on top, the carrot in the middle, and the chick on the other side. I did have the bunny and the chick like facing opposite directions for a little bit of variety. And we're just going to simply hot glue those down. As you can see, those shapes are the perfect size for the size sign. And I really encourage Dollar Tree to make more blank signs like this. It just makes crafting so much easier. And that's it. I kind of like the simplicity of it. I was thinking about framing it out, but I kind of love it just as is. So let me show you how that turned out. Our little gingham Easter shaped sign for Easter. Super fun. The printables that I designed almost look like fabric. They kind of give you that vibe of gingham fabric on them. And I love those colors together. Isn't that so cute? I think it's really charming. Thank you so much for joining me today for these 8 Dollar Tree DIYs. Up next, I have the final reveal. Be sure to put your favorite Easter DIY in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and please subscribe. Enjoy.
What you're putting in, all your hopes and efforts are all in vain. Who will pick you up when you've lost everything? Does it all become for granted with a wedding ring?
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. That always really helps my videos to do better. And I also want to give a huge thank you to all of my Crafty Beach Bum members. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Carrie R., Tracy Knight, Nancy Wunner, Julie Miller, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Maria Grace, Donna Schreiner, and Sandy C. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to watch more Dollar Tree DIYs, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video right here. Happy crafting!